The Oklahoma sun beat down on the sprawling plains, casting long shadows on the fields of wheat. It was a land where life moved at a slower pace, where neighbors knew each other and the doors were often left unlocked. The gentle breeze carried the scent of freshly cut grass and the distant murmur of children playing. It was a scene of idyllic peace, a stark contrast to the horror that would soon shatter the tranquility of this small town. The peace was about to be shattered, ripped apart by a senseless act of violence. Gennaro Sanchez, a local shopkeeper known for his infectious laugh and generous spirit, was found murdered in his store. The news spread like wildfire through the community, leaving behind a trail of shock and disbelief. The brutal nature of the crime, so out of place in their peaceful town, left everyone reeling. How could this happen here, in their own backyard? The murder of Gennaro Sanchez wasn't just a crime, it was a devastating blow to the very heart of the community. It was a cruel reminder that darkness could lurk even in the most unexpected corners, shattering the illusion of safety and security. The town was left grappling with a profound sense of loss and vulnerability. The idyllic peace they once knew had been irrevocably broken. Gennaro Sanchez was the embodiment of the American dream. An immigrant from Mexico, he arrived in Oklahoma with nothing but a dream and a tireless work ethic. He built his life from the ground up, opening a small grocery store that quickly became a community hub. His warm smile and genuine kindness were as much a part of the store's charm as the fresh produce he sold. He was a pillar of the community, always ready to lend a helping hand or offer a kind word. Jared Taylor, the man accused of Gennaro's murder, was a stark contrast. A troubled young man, Jared was known for his withdrawn nature and unpredictable behavior. He lived on the fringes of society, haunted by inner demons that few understood. His life was a tapestry of isolation and despair, a stark contrast to the warmth and vibrancy of Gennaro's world. The two men, living in the same town yet worlds apart, were destined for a fateful collision. Their paths crossed on that fateful day, a chilling intersection of two lives on vastly different trajectories. Gennaro, a beacon of hope and resilience, and Jared, consumed by the darkness within, were brought together by a tragic twist of fate. It was a collision that would leave one life extinguished and another forever stained with the burden of a terrible act. The details of the crime were as shocking as they were senseless. Jared entered Gennaro's store in broad daylight, a cold, detached look in his eyes. Without a word, he pulled out a knife, a cruel instrument of destruction, and plunged it into Gennaro. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving no time for Gennaro to defend himself. The lifeblood of a good man spilled onto the floor of his own store, a scene of unimaginable horror. The community watched in stunned disbelief as the police swarmed the area, cordoning off the crime scene. The news spread quickly, each retelling adding another layer of disbelief and grief. Gennaro's store, once a symbol of warmth and community, was now a chilling reminder of the darkness that had invaded their town. The idyllic peace they had always cherished was shattered, replaced by a chilling fear. As the investigation unfolded, a portrait of Jared began to emerge, a portrait as perplexing as it was disturbing. Jared, a young man known for his solitary nature, had no prior criminal record. He was an enigma, a puzzle that investigators struggled to piece together. The motive behind the crime remained elusive, adding another layer of mystery to the already baffling tragedy. Jared's demeanor during the interrogation was as unsettling as the crime itself. He remained unnervingly calm, his eyes betraying no emotion, no remorse. He answered questions in a monotone voice, devoid of any inflection, as if reciting lines from a script. His detachment was chilling, a stark contrast to the grief and outrage that consumed the community. It was as if he were a detached observer, watching the unfolding drama from a distance. His lack of remorse was particularly disturbing. He exhibited no signs of guilt or empathy, no indication that he understood the gravity of his actions. He was a void of emotion, a blank slate reflecting nothing but the cold, harsh reality of the crime. His demeanor raised more questions than it answered, adding to the mystery surrounding the case. What darkness lurked within this young man? What drove him to commit such a heinous act? The investigators, seasoned professionals accustomed to the darkest corners of the human psyche, were left shaken by Jared's chilling indifference. They had encountered hardened criminals before, individuals who had committed unspeakable acts. But Jared was different. His detachment was not a facade, not a calculated attempt to manipulate the system. It was a chilling reflection of an internal void, a complete absence of the emotions that connect us as human beings. The town of Oklahoma was united in grief, the loss of Gennaro Sanchez felt by every resident. His store had been more than just a place to buy groceries. It was a gathering place, a community hub where people exchanged news, shared stories, and enjoyed Gennaro's infectious laughter. His absence left a void that could never be filled, a constant reminder of the life that had been cruelly stolen. Candlelight vigils were held, the flickering flames a symbol of hope and remembrance. People shared stories about Gennaro, their voices heavy with grief, but also laced with affection. They spoke of his kindness, his generosity, his unwavering belief in the goodness of people. The stories painted a vivid picture of a life well lived, a life dedicated to making the world a better place. But amidst the grief and remembrance, a question lingered in the air. A question that echoed through the streets and haunted the dreams of the townspeople. Why? Why Gennaro? Why this senseless act of violence? The question hung over the town like a shroud, a constant reminder of the mystery that surrounded the crime. The investigation continued, but answers remained elusive. Forensic evidence painted a clear picture of the crime, but the motive remained a mystery. Jared, shrouded in silence, offered no explanation for his actions. He remained a closed book, his thoughts and emotions hidden behind a wall of impassiveness. The silence was deafening, amplifying the sense of unease that had settled over the town. The community grappled with the weight of the unknown. Theories abounded, whispers of possible motives circulating like wildfire. Some speculated about a robbery gone wrong, others pointed to a personal vendetta. But without any concrete evidence, the theories remained just that, speculation. The truth, locked away in Jared's silence, remained a tantalizing enigma. The silence was more than just an absence of answers. It was an oppressive presence, a heavy weight that bore down on the community. The lack of closure fueled anxiety, breeding fear and suspicion. The town, once a haven of peace and trust, was now haunted by the specter of the unknown. The murder of Gennaro Sanchez had a profound impact on the community. The sense of safety and security they once enjoyed was shattered, replaced by a chilling awareness of their vulnerability. People were afraid, their fear compounded by the lack of answers. The crime had exposed a dark underbelly of their idyllic town, a reminder that evil could lurk even in the most unexpected places. The community struggled to come to terms with the tragedy. Some retreated into their homes, seeking solace in isolation. Others turned to their faith, finding comfort in prayer and religious rituals. But the grief was pervasive, a shared experience that bound the community together in a tapestry of sorrow. The town was united in its loss, but also in its determination to heal. The healing process was slow and arduous. The scars of the tragedy ran deep, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of darkness. But amidst the grief and despair, there was also a glimmer of hope. The community, bound together by shared pain, found strength in their collective resilience. They were determined to honor Gennaro's memory by rebuilding their shattered piece by piece. The trial of Jared Taylor was a highly publicized affair, attracting national attention. The prosecution presented a compelling case, detailing the brutal nature of the crime and Jared's cold, detached demeanor. The defense, however, argued that Jared was not criminally responsible for his actions due to his mental state. They presented expert testimony from psychiatrists who diagnosed Jared with severe schizophrenia, arguing that he was incapable of understanding the nature and consequences of his actions. The jury, after days of deliberation, reached a verdict, not guilty, by reason of insanity. The verdict sparked a wave of mixed reactions. Some felt it was a just outcome, acknowledging the devastating impact of mental illness. Others, however, expressed outrage, arguing that Jared was escaping justice for a heinous crime. The verdict highlighted the complexities of mental health and the legal system, raising questions about accountability and the role of compassion in the face of tragedy. The insanity verdict did not bring closure. It opened a new chapter in the ongoing saga of grief and uncertainty. Jared was committed to a psychiatric facility, his future uncertain. The community was left grappling with the implications of the verdict, searching for answers in a case that defied easy explanations. The insanity verdict provided a legal resolution, but it did not erase the profound questions that lingered in the aftermath of the tragedy. The mystery of Jared's motive remained unsolved, a source of endless speculation and unease. Why Gennaro? What darkness drove Jared to commit such a senseless act of violence? The questions haunted the community, a constant reminder of the unanswered questions that hung over the case. The lack of answers fueled a sense of unease, a nagging feeling that the story was not truly over. Some found solace in the belief that Jared's mental illness provided a sufficient explanation, absolving him of personal responsibility. Others, however, remained unconvinced, their suspicions fueled by Jared's chilling detachment and the seemingly random nature of the crime. The unanswered questions continued to cast a shadow over the town, a constant reminder of the elusive nature of truth and the enduring power of mystery. The unanswered questions were more than just a source of intellectual curiosity. They were a heavy weight that bore down on the collective psyche of the community. They represented a fundamental lack of closure, a nagging sense that the story was incomplete. The questions served as a constant reminder of the fragility of their peace, a chilling reminder that even in the most idyllic settings, darkness could lurk just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to erupt. The tragic tale of Gennaro Sanchez and Jared Taylor is a stark reminder of the complex interplay between mental health and violence. It highlights the devastating impact of untreated mental illness, not only on individuals, but also on the communities they inhabit. Jared's story is a tragic example of a life derailed by mental illness, a life that ultimately led to a senseless act of violence that shattered a community's peace. This tragedy serves as a call for greater understanding and awareness of mental health issues. We must recognize that mental illness is not a sign of weakness or a character flaw. It is a medical condition that requires treatment and compassion. We must work to dismantle the stigma surrounding mental health, creating a society where individuals feel comfortable seeking help without fear of judgment or discrimination. Early intervention and access to quality mental health care are crucial in preventing tragedies like the one that befell Gennaro Sanchez. The story of Gennaro Sanchez is a poignant reminder that we are all connected, that the well-being of one individual impacts the well-being of the entire community. By fostering a culture of understanding, support, and early intervention, we can work towards preventing future tragedies and creating a world where mental health is treated with the same importance and compassion as physical health. The legacy of Gennaro Sanchez should be a call to action, a catalyst for change that promotes mental health awareness and builds a more compassionate and just society.